It's recording. Okay. So this video is for my online class at CSUN. It's an educational video. Is it just my face and this? Okay. Okay, so I'm teaching at a middle school this semester, and we're reading this short story called Amigo Brothers by Piri Thomas. And I'm teaching the students about say, mean, and matter. And their culminating assignment is to write a one-paragraph essay depicting what the central idea is. So here I've outlined my standards and my objectives. We're using standards reading literature 7.1 and reading literature 7.2. 7.1 talks about finding textual evidence and using it properly, and standard 2 is finding the central idea of a short story or a novel or whatever you're reading. So I've got say, mean, and matter. And say is essentially what does the text say, so it's just quoting the text. Mean is your interpretation, so the student's interpretation of what the quote is. And matter, what are the implications? Why does it matter? Why did the author choose to say what he said in the short story? The student can also talk about universal connections, universal significance, etc. Another activity that I do with the students is something called read and review. So essentially here I just wrote out the directions. So the objective is to ensure that the student has read, comprehended, and analyzed the short story Amigo Brothers. And with the partner, they are to read a section and then quiz their partner, asking a text-based question. And then once the partner knows the answer, they can switch roles. So they do this for the duration of the story, or if I just want them to look at a specific scene, they'll do it just for that specific part in the book, in the short story. Okay, and then this next part has to do with starting out a paragraph. So this is called a fat sentence, and I explain that this is an acronym and it stands for focus. A stands for author's name, T stands for title, and the lowercase t stands for the text type. So Amigo Brothers would be a short story. And I would have them write this definition down, that their fat sentence would be the topic sentence of their paragraph, or if they were writing an essay for me, it would be their thesis statement, essentially, and I provided an example, which we won't look over right now. Then I explain how to embed quotes, so it's important for the students to have textual evidence within their paragraph, right, because that was one of the standards that I want to cover in this lesson. So I explain that there's a method called ties, and that's also an acronym, and it stands, each letter stands for something. So the T would stand for tag, and I explain that they just have to write this part down, which is quote first and context second, and they have an example, and it's from The Great Gatsby, and Gatsby says, "Can't repeat the past." "Why, of course you can," counters Gatsby. And again, this is MLA format, which I explained to them. They do write this down as an example. That when you're quoting, you put the last name of the author and then the page number. You end the parentheses, close parentheses, and then you put the period at the very end. So this is something that I require them to know how to do. So tag is the first method. Then you've got introduce, which is context first and quote second. Essentially, it's just the opposite of tag. Again, this is their example, and I go over that with them. Embed would be the E, and that's context, quote, context. So the quote is essentially sandwiched between the context.